I don't know how to describe it other than like a demon type of sound.
But it's silhouetted, hulking, every bit of 5.5 feet wide, 13 to 14 foot tall, pitch black.
The one thing that ran through my mind when I had this encounter was I don't have a big enough gun.
Your host, two-time witness and field researcher for more than 40 years, William Jevning. Welcome to Creek Devil.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Creek Devil. Our guest today is Cory. Is it okay to say just the general region you're in, Cory, or?
Yeah.
Okay, he's in East Texas. Folks, you'll have to excuse me. I've had this cold kind of on and off for a few weeks now, and it's kind of playing heck with my voice. So Tom and Brian will be doing most of the talking this evening. So, Brian, I'll have you go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So Cory, this is the first time I've heard about your experience. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened in your encounter?
Yes. Well, it's funny because my brother was on the show a few months back, and I didn't even know this had happened to him, and then I had randomly found this upon looking at stuff on YouTube. So I immediately called him and I was like, "Hey, do you still remember where that spot was where that happened at?" And sure enough, he still had it in the GPS, the exact location. So me and 5 other friends decided to take a trip out there one afternoon. We thought about heading out there around 6 and then staying out there till around midnight, just looking around and have flashlights. And we usually do it every now and again. We head out to the big thicket to go look around and whatnot. And well, we got there. We got to where the GPS was, and just dead ends right in the middle of nowhere. So we started looking around, and when we get past, there's this little cemetery out there too. And when you get past all that, and you get back past all that into dead ends, you walk down, and there's this little ravine, and we started looking down the ravine because it was fresh mud down there. So I started looking for tracks and stuff. And sure enough, not 10 minutes into it, we got plenty of pictures of it. It was about, I think we measured it, it was 16, almost 17 inches long track. And there's about 7 of them, about 6 feet apart from each other, left to right, down the ravine. So we started heading that way. And my friends are all behind me. I'm in the front, and we're walking, and I need to sit for a second and take a break on this down log. I had double knee surgery, so walking around a lot is just, I need to stop for a second. So while I'm sitting there, while we're all waiting, and they're doing their thing, and they're looking around, out of the corner of my eye, from about, 50 feet away, I see something kind of like bob down. Like I see something just dark, and then it just goes down. And then I look over in that direction, and I don't see anything. But then my friend had said to me, right as I looked over, she goes, "Did you see that?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Something just went down over there." I was like, "Oh, wait, so you did see that?" So we're looking over there. I was like, "Well, wait, let's look away. Maybe it'll come back up." And then, so we started looking away, but I'm looking out of my peripherals. And then sure enough, we see just something start rising, and it's going taller and taller and taller. And we just all kind of just tilt our heads just a little bit, not turn them, but look over in that direction. Sure enough, oh my God, this thing was at least 7 foot, and then shoulder to shoulder about, I'd say, well, I mean, I'm 6'1", and I weigh 350 pounds, and this thing shoulder to shoulder was 2 of me standing side by side. And then this was a female for sure. You could tell it had breasts and whatnot, and so it started making noises as it finally noticed that we were looking at it and whatnot. So we start walking out, and then to our left, as we're trying to get out of there, we hear a really deep, like a low, just a mean growl, like, get out of there. And then a branch, or not like a big old limb, comes flying out of the thicket, because it's all bush and like you can't see from where it came from, but you saw it came from out of it, out of the bush and at us. So we start hightailing it back to the truck. And so I get back to the truck, everybody gets in, I pop my headlights on, and there's the female, and then off to the right where my lights are shining, and I put them on high beams, was, I'm just going to figure a male, because it was much bigger than the female. They were both black matted, kind of gray hair. The male was definitely taller. Like I said, the female had to be at least 7 foot or so. He was a good foot and a half taller. So he starts circling the truck through the woods at the edge, like clockwise, going around the truck. And then she's just staying over there, and he starts going to the right, circling us, and we're all seeing this thing, and we're just in disbelief as what is happening, because we hadn't been there but like 30, 45 minutes. Like we had just gotten there. And so this is happening. And as I'm sitting there watching this, my friend's in the back going, hey, I just saw some little shadows going through the woods. Like, what are you talking about, little shadows? I'm like, what do you mean? Well, it looked like little black shadows. I was like, how little? And they were like 4 foot tall. And I was like, shadows. And then it dawned on me, like, well, what if those are juveniles, and like this is the dad and the mom, and they don't want us in this area. They want us to get the hell out. So I told everyone, roll your windows up. We're going down. We're going to go to a different spot. We're going to leave this one, head to another spot. So we leave there, and as we're going down the road, we just came down. There's now in the path of the road a huge tree that can be seen broken off in the center, and this tree was about, I'm trying to think how big around I can describe this. Let's see. Much the size of my thigh, which is that's pretty big around. I mean, that's a pretty good sized tree laying across the road that we had just previously came down, and it wasn't there. So obviously we made them mad. So we went around. I went a little off-road a little bit, went around the tree because I wasn't going to get out and try and move it while they were there. So went around it. As we got back to the main road before I went to the second spot, I stopped and started doing some calls because the spot that was back there was a good mile away. So once I got a good mile away from it, I stopped because I saw some other weird signs down this trail. And so I start doing calls, and not 5 minutes later, we're all out there standing around the truck. We're staying very close to the truck now because we're frightened from what just happened. So we're just on the dirt road, middle of nowhere. It's getting pretty dark now, and it starts a triangle, like from the left side of the truck, the right side of the truck, and kind of catty-cornered behind the truck. We start getting calls back from all three sides, and then we don't do nothing, and then these three things are just talking back to each other. I don't it was, they were just whooping back and forth and knocking every so often. Like, we sat there and just recorded it and just listened for like 15 minutes before we drove off, and then they finally just went silent. And then other than that first half of the trip is the big stuff. The second spot, the main thing that happened, the only thing I can really report is when we got there, I went off by myself to go use the bathroom while they were at the truck still, and I had to get out. And then as I'm walking back to the truck, there's this out there, there's a ton of big giant oak trees. And I'm walking out there. I have a police baton, like spotlight, like a really, really good flashlight I'm walking out there with. And I'm heading back to the truck, and there's this big old oak tree right off the path from where the truck is as I'm walking back, about 20 feet away from me. And I'm just shining so I can see where I'm going. And then I happened to look up, see where I was going, and then I shined my light around. And all I saw was half of an arm and a full leg, auburn-colored fur. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was Bigfoot, but it was definitely on two legs because I saw it step behind it, and I caught the tail end of an arm and a leg. And then I heard it, and then I made a beeline to the truck, and I said, hey, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So, at least 3 individuals and 2 juveniles, possibly.
Yeah, so this is actually...
It was a crazy day.
Yeah, that's a great story. I wanted to ask you, because you said that at one point it almost felt like you were in a triangle.
It did. It felt like they were surrounding us.
Yeah, do you think that you said that they were communicating, do you think that they were, like, speaking a language, like, back and forth, or...
It sounded like whoops and like woo, like I can't really, it wasn't just whoops, it was all kinds of different kind of like audible like whoops or ooh, or like I can't really describe it or do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were making a lot of that and knocks on the trees.
But you definitely got the feeling that they were communicating with
talking to each other. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
100%. Never seen that or heard that. I've been out there so many times to go do this, and I've never, ever had anything like that triangle thing happen. And we were just sitting there in awe, just listening.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that you were pretty scared at that time.
Oh, I was. I was shaking. I was like, but at the same time, you know, you're just like, wow, this is really cool at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how far apart do you think that they were with each other?
The first sighting that you're talking about the triangle. Oh, I would say because that we could hear them clearly. So I would say maybe not more than 25 to 30 yards away from my truck on each side, but it's so thick I couldn't see where it was coming from.
Yeah, that's really scary. I mean, just to think that they were that close and they were surrounded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why I was like, when I saw the Auburn one, I don't know if that was or not, but it definitely was walking and was big and was stepped on that tree. And then I heard it breathing, and I was like, okay, I already had that happen back there. Now this thing's right here. It's time to go.
Yeah. You know, it's really, really scared too, to think that, like, you just know maybe the triangle, like maybe 3 areas, but there could have been a lot more, actually.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
There could have been some even closer that we couldn't have seen. Like, it's so thick back up in there. Like, you really can't see far.
By chance, did you get a chance to look at their eyes at all? Was there, like, an eye glow?
The eye glow, yeah, there was actually, because I had shined my spotlight on one of them, and his eyes were glowing like a yellowy, almost a bright yellowy with a hint of orange in it. And they were about, I'm trying to think with my fingers, like if you look at the head and the eyes were pretty far apart. They were about, I wish I had a ruler. I mean, I would say 4 to 5 inches apart sounds about right.
Yeah.
They were pretty big. Like, you could see, like, this thing's head was massive.
Yeah, yeah.
The male's was at least. I didn't get a good look at the female, but I got a good look at that big old male, and he did not look like he wanted us there.
Yeah, he was probably pretty pissed off, right?
Yeah, he was. When he started circling my truck, I started panicking.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that's interesting, too, though. Talking about like how your friend saw shadows and how they could be children. Yeah. It just goes to show like how many of those creatures could be out there and nobody's
exactly, because I didn't even think about it. She told me that, and I looked for a split second because I was keeping my eyes on him, and I looked and I didn't see anything. And then like a few days later when we were at home, she was explaining to me more what she saw because I was in the moment and I wasn't really listening. And I was thinking, dude, those could have been little juvenile Sasquatch, and that's why they were running those out. It just dawned on me a few days later, like, oh, that's probably what happened. And I just didn't. And I just saw the juveniles from Slitsayer saw a shadow, but apparently not just her, but 3 of the other friends saw the same thing she saw, but didn't say anything about it. And then we were all talking about it a few days later, and that's what we came to the conclusion of.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how many of those juveniles are out there.
It really does. I've been going out there for years, and not just that spot. That was the very first time I've been to that spot after I'd asked my brother where it was at. But other than that, when I go out to the actual thicket location or somewhere else or spots I go to out there, I've never seen any juveniles. Those are the first 2 I've seen.
Yeah. Now, have you been to that area since then, or?
No, but everybody's wanting to plan a trip back up there pretty soon. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick question. This is Tom. Sorry, I joined kind of midstream here, just came on a little bit late. So fascinating story, very interesting, especially, what really caught my attention was the auburn hair that you saw, and it's bipedal. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, right?
That's what I thought of when I saw it. So I didn't take a chance, even if it wasn't. It was something big, and it didn't, and it was there, and it was not making nice sounds, and I was going to my truck.
Yeah, there you go. That's you're doing the right thing. I was curious about you mentioned a thicket. Can you describe a little bit of the kind of the terrain or the trees? Are they predominantly oak, or do you got pines mixed in? Give us a little idea.
Oh, yeah, you got pines, you got oaks. There's pine needles all over the ground. There's dead leaves, little sticks and limbs and branches. It's just, I mean, you got bushes of all kinds. It's thick up, and they call it a thicket for a reason.
I bet, yeah. And do you hear crunching if you hear something walking through
Absolutely.
the woods?
As a matter of fact, right when I got there, I had the absolute crap scared out of me by a big old buck. As soon as we got out there, right before it all happened, we went down the ravine, shut the door, I'm walking out, and all of a sudden I hear something go right to the left of me through the woods, and I look over, and it's just this big old buck running through there. So yeah, if you something's moving through there, you're going to hear it.
You're going to hear it. And do you think the buck was in response to, you think maybe it was being chased by these things?
Oh, no, it was me. It was literally right beside me on the right. I guess it didn't hear me walking up, and then as soon as it saw me, it darted into the woods. I didn't see it. It didn't see me, and we scared each other.
Way to go.
It just ran further into the woods, and I about had a heart attack.
Right.
Hey, Cory,
very,
I want
very
to ask,
fascinating encounter.
Yeah, Cory, I want to ask really quickly about because you said that you went to the area and then you guys were going to leave, and then the Sasquatches presumably put a tree right in your path.
Yeah, like a pretty decent sized tree too. And you can see where the tree came from and where exactly it was snapped off at. And it was just laying there, not, 25, 30 minutes prior after that all happened when we were trying to get out of there, and now it's there. It wasn't there before, after just a few minutes, and now it's there after all this is happening. So, yeah, I was ready to go.
So it was fresh, though. I mean, it
was fresh, yeah. You could see, right where it broke, and it had to have just happened because it obviously wasn't there when we just drove in.
And now this was across the road or across the path?
No, the dirt road, driving out of where where the first 2 were. Yeah.
So what did you do? Could you go around
I wondered, there was a little bit of grass and bush to the left, but it was enough to where I could skirt around it without having to run over the thing. So I just went off-roading a little bit and went back on the road. Because I wasn't going to get out and move it while these things were right there.
No, absolutely not. And, it's funny. I think we hear about this. This is actually more common, than people might imagine. So they're very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have got out either. A good reason to have.
Yeah, apparently they had thrown rocks in my truck at one point. I had like two big old rocks in my bed of my truck when we got home.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had thrown a branch when we were out there, like I said. But apparently, when we didn't know, they had thrown some big old rocks, and because I had two big old rocks in the bed of my truck when we got home, didn't even know about.
How big were they?
They're about the size of a grapefruit, each of them. Like they were big old like rocks.
Yeah, that's pretty big. And what I was going to kind of mention on that tree in the road, a good reason to have an excellent brush guard so you don't lose a headlights or radiator or anything if you have to smash through it.
Definitely have a brush guard. Yeah, I do.
Oh, good. Yeah, no. I mean, that's very interesting.
Yeah, Tom, it's interesting because we've talked before about, in interviewing several witnesses, it seems like these things don't want confrontation, but then at times, though, like this, when they put a tree in the middle of the path, it's like they don't want you to leave, so now they want confrontation. So it is interesting how these creatures work. It is.
That's a good observation, Brian, and it seems like it's a setup. Knowing that you...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're going to get out of the truck, and then they got you. I don't know, real quick, Will, do you think that's a accurate assessment of what they're doing? Is they're trying to stop you so they can get access to you? Or?
And that's very possible, sure.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, Cory, we do hear about this. So I wouldn't be surprised if there have been some serious incidences involving where you either a rock, heavy bunch of rocks in the road, or a tree, and the people get out, and then it becomes a very nightmare situation.
Yeah,
for sure. That's what I was thinking when I saw them rocks in the back. I was like, man, if this would have hit one of us, like this could have actually hurt us or killed us. They were pretty big. Like they would have hit somebody on the head from a distance. Oh yeah, it could have easily killed somebody.
Yeah.
And Cory, too, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to our show from last week, but we were talking about the fact that it seems like the population of these creatures is growing. And that's why I found your comment about the shadows and how there possibly are more juveniles that you saw. I think it's probably growing, I think.
And honestly, I hope it is growing. I love going out there looking for these and studying them, and it's just a matter of fact. I have a Bigfoot tattoo. I mean, I've loved this since I was little. I really hope they are growing. I hope one day, the species does get recognized and protected and whatnot. And I really do hope that. I really hope they are growing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things happen in the future.
Yeah. But yeah, that was out of all the times I've been out there and all the stuff I've had, that was scary. That was for sure scary.
Yeah, it would be. Absolutely. Cory, I apologize. I did come in the call just a little bit late, but I don't want you to give out the area, but last I checked, Texas is a big state. Can you let us know, in case you haven't already, what, West Texas, East Texas?
It's near Saratoga. Right near Saratoga in East, I think that's, it's still Southeast Texas, yeah. Or South Texas, or Eastern kind of ish that, yeah. It's about 30 to 45 minute drive from Beaumont.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And is this your only experience with these creatures, or have you had other experiences where...
The only experience I've had at that one, that was the first time I've been there, but usually I go out straight to the Big Thicket National Reserve. This is near the thicket, but all my other ones are out at the actual thicket.
Right. So at either one of the locations, have you had encounters where you knew it was, or you had a strong suspicion that maybe you were...
Oh, yeah, at the thicket, plenty of times that I knew there were, but nothing violent. Nothing threatening or nothing like what happened over there.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about one of those other, maybe one or two of those other experiences. What happened? What did you see? What did you hear?
Oh, usually, they'll just, I used to go camping out there all the time. I don't get to go camp out there as much as I used to, but I'd go out there camping, and we'd be up all night doing the knocks and stuff, and we'd have them knock back to us or call back to us. We had one time come into our camp while we're in our tent sleeping, and me and my friend were up, and we're not moving, and we hear them, and then we get up the next morning. We don't want to make any noise or anything, but we know it's what it is because we can hear it breathing, and it's breathing right outside the tent is rumbling my chest. It's so deep, and you can feel the ground like move each time it takes a step. Like it's so huge. And so the next morning we get up, all of our stuff just thrown around. Nothing was taken. Everything was just thrown around or dumped out, or like they were looking through stuff. And then we found
what does
footprints.
The breathing sound like?
I can't do it, but it's just a low, just a.
Okay.
I can't do it as deep, but.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think a lot of people have described that as well. I was curious because some people have described it, not all of them, but once in a while they describe a raspiness, like it's like something.
Yeah,
that is really
I've heard that in
laboring
some.
to
I
breathe.
feel like those may be the ones that are like maybe sick or kind of older, because I have heard that breathing too out at the thicket.
Okay.
The raspiness. So I will agree with that.
Now, Cory, I wanted to ask.
Go ahead, Brian. No.
Oh, I was going to say, Cory, have there been any other experiences that you have heard about in that area? I mean, is that kind of a hot spot for
the thicket in general is usually a hot spot, but the spot where we went where they were aggressive, I had only figured out about that spot when I heard my brother do the show a few months back, and I messaged him to see if he still knew where it was, and sure enough he did, and he sent me the Google Maps for it.
Yeah, well,
so obviously I would say Aaron.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know we had him on the show before, but yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah.
But we went out there, and yeah, it was. I would say it's pretty hot out there from what happened.
Yeah. And Cory too. I'm not sure if you heard the show from last week, but also there was a case where there's supposedly a missing monkey out there. I guess there's not Santa Fe, New Mexico, but there's a Santa Fe, Texas on the East Coast there. That there was a monkey that's supposedly loose, and they don't know if it's it's an actual.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that actually.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I heard about that, but luckily that's nowhere near where I was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't know if it's a Bigfoot or if it's just somebody's pet monkey that got away, but
it's probably a pet monkey. It wouldn't be the first time. We had somebody's pet chimp up here at the thicket get loose one time, so I wouldn't. Yeah, they caught it, so hopefully they catch that one. Oh yeah, they caught it. Yeah.
Interesting. That wouldn't that be a kind of a interesting scenario to see what the interaction would be, or what the chimp's response would be to these creatures.
That's what I was thinking too when it happened.
Yeah, because I'm guessing the chimp would be just as terrified as any of us would be.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, Cory, are you going to go back to that area anytime soon to maybe do some investigating?
See, I want to, and a few of my friends are still wanting to go out there again. We're just taking our time and waiting for the right time, because right now, it's been raining a ton.
Yeah.
And like when I say it gets hot down here, like yesterday was 110.
Right.
So we're just probably waiting until it gets more into fall and it gets a little cooler outside. I'm going to try and go again, see if they're still out there in the cooler weather. But considering that when Aaron went out there and had experience, that was 6 years ago, and this is now, they're still there. So I'm sure they'd still be there even in the cold weather.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that Will can give you some advice too. I mean, I know that he's going to say, hey, don't ever go out alone, and don't ever go out.
I never do. Yeah.
And
I would never go out
don't-
unarmed for sure. It's Texas. Everybody's got a gun.
Yeah. But yeah, you did.
But
you
yeah, I
definitely have to
actually
keep-
carry I carry my Taurus Judge. It's you can use 410 shells or 45 Colt, and then I always have in my truck my 12 gauge.
Is it a pump?
Yes.
Or gas auto? A pump? Yeah.
It's pump, yeah. But yeah, I always have it loaded. It's in my truck, safety on, and then when I'm out there hunting, I always have my Taurus on my side.
And like you said before too, it's like you always want to be armed, because even if you think that there's one out there, like you said, there's probably a triangle. They're probably surrounding you. So
Oh, absolutely. You take down one, and the other two are going to come get you from the other side, and you ain't going to see them coming, and they're just going to take you out.
exactly, yeah, yep. But yeah, you definitely have to keep us posted for the next time that you go out there and let us know.
Oh, I sure will. We're going to bring more stuff this time. We just wanted to go check out the area. Like I said, it was our first time. Just heard the story, asked Aaron for the directions. And so now that we had this experience, we're definitely going to bring more stuff out there with us time. And if we find more prints this time, we'll have Plaster Paris with us. And we'll have, we were just going to check it out. We didn't expect all that to happen. And it scares us a little bit. So taking our time, and yeah, we're eventually going to go out there. We plan on doing it before the year's up.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and I wonder if this is just accidental or if it was planned, but the fact that you saw the female first, and then the next you saw the male next. I wonder if that
I didn't see the male first. We heard the male first, and apparently he was behind us the whole time in those bushes when we heard that growl.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, and then that scared us, and we ran to the truck, and that's when I turned the lights on. There was the female to the left, and right in my headlight was the male, where we heard the growl from.
Yeah, but now the more that you talk about this, though, the more that I think that it was probably a family unit, and that female was probably protecting her young ones.
That's what we were thinking, because the shadows and everything. That's why we figured they were being aggressive, because they were protecting.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but it was crazy, and it was cool nonetheless. But when I saw that tree, and then we got surrounded for 15 minutes, then it was like, it might be time to go.
Yeah.
The fun comes to an end real quick then, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that trip, and now I have it saved in my GPS though, and we're definitely going back for the years up.
Yeah. Hey, also next time, just a recommendation. Try to get video if you can, because that would be awesome.
That's what I would love to do. I was so shaken. I forgot to even pick up my phone when this thing was right in front of my headlights. Like, I'm just looking at this thing staring at me, and then starts walking around my truck. I ain't even moving my eyes off this thing.
No, it's a very common reaction too. But it would be great one of these days if we can get video of.
That's what I was telling her. I told him we need to get like a GoPro or something and attach it to us, or I don't know. We were talking about it.
But Cory, that's very common. Most people, I would say the majority of the time, you see one of these things, you don't need a video for you because you know what you're seeing.
Exactly.
The video is really for other people, and you're really in kind of a fight or flee mode at that point, right?
Pretty much. I had already unlocked my gun from the rack in my truck, and I had it in my hand. Like, if this thing charges my truck,
right?
Like, as it was looking, it started walking. And
hey, Cory, real quick, did you see more than one of them, or did you just see the one?
No, I saw the big male, saw the female. May have been, like I said, the two shadows, could have been kids, and then the auburn arm and leg. It was definitely walking. I'm not going to say it was a big, because I didn't see the whole thing. All I saw was the arm and the leg, and then I heard the noise it was making, and then that was when we left for the day after that happened.
Well, what else could
So the question I was going to ask was, what was the color of the other ones? Like the one that was in
the other ones, the The male. Oh, the male was the male and the female were both black, but the male had a little bit of gray mixed in with his fur, and his fur was a lot more matted, whereas the females was still matted, but they not near as bad as what the males was. And the smell surrounding my truck, I smelled like I was just parked in a sewer. It was so bad. Yeah, it smelled so bad. Like I can't describe to you like the combination of smells it smelled like, but it was bad.
You know, that's interesting because I think that Will's second encounter, he saw a male, and it was also kind of the grayish color.
Yeah,
too,
it definitely has some gray mixed in with its fur, with its black.
Yeah. Because most of the time we think of them as being like dark brown or maybe auburn, like reddish.
Mm-hmm.
But there are reports of them being kind of grayish, or even in some cases being all white fur.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I forgot the video of that one. It was somewhere in Texas. I remember it was in the backyard, and that big old, he shines his light on the white Bigfoot, and it runs off.
Yeah.
And you see the face of it. I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but I always love that video.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Very, and I agree. Very, very scary encounter.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cory, just maybe one of the last questions here, but I mean, when you were in that experience, though, that had to be one of the most, like, the scariest point of your entire life. I mean, you must have been just freaking out, right?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Like I said, I'm a pretty big guy, and I had double knee surgery. But when this thing stepped behind that tree and started making them noises, you've never seen somebody as big as me move so fast in your life. Like,
imagine. Yeah, I mean, I can just imagine. I mean, that must be like, especially when you're surrounded too. It's not just like that you're face to face with it. I mean, that's bad enough, but the fact that you're surrounded by these things. Oh yeah, my gosh, yeah, that's got to be just terrifying.
Front, there was one to the left, to the right, and then catty corner behind me. So almost like a little triangle. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't know where the attack is going to come from. It could be from anywhere.
Exactly. And we don't know if there was more. We just heard these three talking to each other. And for a good solid 15 to 20 minutes. And we weren't moving. Every time I tried to drive forward, we'd get a loud, like, or if I whooped back, then they would, like, stop. Or if I tried anything back, and then once I turned my truck off, then they'd start talking to each other.
Wow, yeah.
So as long as my truck was off and we were just sitting on the road listening to them, they were just chit-chatting.
No, how would you describe that chit-chat?
Like I said, it's just whoops, knocks, and like the weird little, I guess I'm just going to say monkey sounds like ooh, and like ooh, or like weird like little grunts and whoops and howls and yeah.
Right.
Really sounds like they were trying to intimidate you as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Mm-hmm. Especially with the tree being over the road. I mean, dead giveaway.
Yeah.
They were probably confused by you just as much as you were confused by them, though. So they probably didn't know how to react. They're probably thinking, like I said, maybe the mother's trying to protect her young ones, but
and that is exactly what I thought. Which is then I was like, oh, I understand now. Now I understand why they're being, like they were, because we were in the area where their kids were, and they don't want us around their kids because they don't know who or what we are.
Exactly. Yeah. So they were probably confused just as you were, and it was just kind of probably just maybe being at the wrong time at the wrong place at the wrong time, if you will.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very. I'm excited but cautious about going back out, but yeah, it should be good nonetheless.
And another thing, Cory, is even if you can't get a picture, because when you're in the moment with a direct encounter like this, probably the last thing on your mind, and maybe even the last thing that should be on your mind, is getting a picture of the creatures. And if you got one, that'd be great. But I was going to say, like the down tree and anything like that, that'd be excellent if you could get that in a way that's...
I bet that tree's still across that road. I bet you I could go get a picture of that tree and everything. Nobody goes out there. Like, where this is at, like, when Aaron said this is in the middle of nowhere, we got out there, this is in the middle of nowhere. Like, if you look at it on a Google map and the little red pinpoints on the map, it's in the center of the woods.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be great if you get a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's still there. I mean, unless weather's blown it off I don't know, but I bet you, considering how big that thing was, I bet it's still laying across the road up there.
And then also, we'll post those on his website. So yeah, if you get any pictures, and this goes not for sure to you, Cory, but I mean anybody out there that's listening, if you have any photos like footprints or tree breaks or anything like that, you can send them to us and we can post them on the website.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll for sure do that then. Yeah, like I said, it was in the moment. Didn't think about taking any pictures, and we weren't there long, and then we were just kind of just ran out of there. It feels like, but I will for sure. Yeah, we already got plans of doing. We're gonna have GoPros. We're gonna have the cameras ready. We're gonna have plaster Paris in case we do, because we found a really good print last time. And we didn't get to do anything with it because that's when we ran out. And then, so for sure, this next time we are going to be prepared. And hopefully I can send y'all some pictures or some video or something.
Yeah. Just so for not just you, Cory, but anybody out there, just send them to creekdevil.com. And yeah, we'll be happy to post those. So
alrighty.
Always look forward to like new evidence and so forth that we can put on there. So, yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, if we don't have anything else, I don't know, Brian, any final thoughts or?
No, I just want to thank Cory for coming on and sharing his experience. And also, I know that you and your brother Aaron had those experiences, so it's always great to hear from people that want to come on the show and share their experience. So if anybody had an experience or an encounter and they want to share anything, then definitely we'll be happy to have you on.
Oh, for sure.
And you can just contact us. We have a couple of emails that are dedicated for that. The easiest one is questions@creekdevil.com, questions plural. And the other one would be encounters@creekdevil.com. It really doesn't matter. You can contact us either way, and we'd love to hear from you. So, look forward to that. And Cory, I got to say that your encounter is probably one of the more exciting and interesting ones. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. When you had my brother on, I knew I had to come on here and tell you about my encounter in the same spot.
Corey, we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And my apologies for not being more talkative. My throat's really kind of messed up. So, but we'll talk again soon. And folks, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next segment.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Creek Devil. If you or anyone you know has had an encounter with these creatures, please contact us at williamjevning@yahoo.com. That's William, Jevning @yahoo.com. All communication is confidential. Join us for another program next week. And until then, keep your eyes open out